Reconnecting with a childhood friend after many years of silence led to unexpected reflections on time and change. I hadn't seen him since the 5th grade. We were inseparable then. Every day after school, we would build forts in the woods behind my house or play video games until our eyes hurt. We shared secrets, dreams, and the kind of unadulterated joy that only kids can truly understand. Then, his family moved across the country. There were promises to stay in touch, awkward goodbyes, and then, nothing. Life just happened. I remember feeling incredibly sad when he moved. The woods behind my house felt empty without him. I tried to write letters, but it felt weird and forced. Phone calls were expensive, and we eventually just stopped talking. I made new friends, but no one ever quite replaced that bond. There was always a small part of me that missed him. I never actively searched for him online. Social media wasn't really a big thing when we were younger, and by the time it was, I guess I just assumed he wouldn't be interested in reconnecting. Sometimes, his name would pop into my head, usually triggered by something random, like a certain video game or a smell that reminded me of the woods. I would wonder if he was doing well, if he was happy. I hoped that he had found friends and built a good life for himself. Years turned into decades. I went through high school, college, got a job, got married. He became a distant memory, a faded photograph in the album of my childhood. I often wondered what happened to him, where life had taken him. Did he remember our forts? Did he ever think about those endless afternoons of video games? Recently, I stumbled across his name on social media. A wave of nostalgia washed over me. It took a moment to decide, but I sent a message. I didn't expect a response, but a few days later, there it was. A simple, "Hey, is this really you?" I replied immediately to his message. I confirmed my identity. I felt a strange mix of excitement and nervousness. I wondered what he wanted after all this time. I hadn't thought about him much in recent years. Seeing his name again brought back many old memories. Some were good, and some were not. I still felt some guilt about how things ended. I hoped he didn't still hold a grudge. We had been close friends. I ruined that with my actions. He asked how I was doing. I told him I was fine. I asked him the same question. He seemed well. The conversation flowed easily after the initial contact. We talked about unimportant things at first. The weather came up. We discussed our jobs briefly. Then, we moved on to more personal topics. I learned a lot about his life. We started messaging back and forth. It was awkward at first, like trying to speak a language I'd forgotten. We filled each other in on the missing years. He had gone to college, traveled the world, and now worked as a software engineer. He was married with 2 kids. I told him about my life, my job, my wife. The messages led to phone calls, and the phone calls led to a plan. He was going to be in town for a conference and wanted to meet up. A mix of excitement and apprehension swirled within me. Could we recapture the magic of our childhood friendship? Would we even recognize each other? I agreed to the meeting. I made sure to pick a public place, a coffee shop near my office. I figured if things got weird, I could easily make an excuse and leave. I also told a friend about the plan, just in case. I did not want to be completely alone if the situation went south. I tried not to overthink it in the days leading up to the meeting. I focused on work and tried to keep my expectations low. It had been so long. People change. I told myself it would be fine, even if it was just a short, awkward conversation. I could handle that. I got to the coffee shop early to secure a table. I chose one near the window so I could see people coming in. I ordered a coffee and waited. My hands were sweating. I checked my phone repeatedly, even though I knew he did not have my number. I felt a surge of nerves. I wondered if he would even show up. Maybe he had changed his mind. Part of me hoped he would not. Part of me was terrified that he would. The day arrived. I waited at the coffee shop, scanning the faces of the people walking in. Then, I saw him. He was taller, broader, with a receding hairline, but the eyes were the same. A familiar spark flickered within them. We hugged, a little awkwardly, and sat down. The initial small talk felt forced, but as we started reminiscing about old times, the years melted away. We laughed about the time we tried to build a raft and it immediately sank. We remembered the elaborate stories we used to invent about aliens living in the woods. The conversation flowed easily, naturally. I asked him about his family. He showed me pictures of his kids, beaming with pride. He talked about his wife and how supportive she had been through everything. I could see the genuine love and appreciation he had for them. It was good to see him so happy. We ordered some food and continued talking. We discussed our parents and how they were doing. We spoke about other friends we had lost touch with over the years. It was comforting to reconnect and realize we still shared a bond, despite the distance and time apart. We had both changed, but the core of our friendship remained. He told me about his struggles, the challenges he faced in his career, the joys and anxieties of being a parent. I shared my own experiences, the ups and downs of my marriage, the pressures of my job. We talked about our dreams for the future, our fears about getting older. I learned that life had been difficult for him at times. He faced setbacks and disappointments, just like everyone else. He wasn't the invincible, carefree kid I remembered. He was a man, weathered by experience, but still carrying a spark of the boy I used to know. I realized I also had changed since we last saw each other. I wasn't that same naive teenager anymore either. I'd gone through my own challenges and grown in ways I hadn't expected. I'd learned about responsibility, heartbreak, and the complexities of adulthood. I also had my own stories, my own secrets, and my own regrets. I wondered if he could see the changes in me as clearly as I saw them in him. I decided to share some of my own experiences. I told him about my career, my relationships, and my struggles. I didn't hold back. I needed him to understand that I wasn't judging him from some place of perfect understanding. We were both just trying to figure things out. We were both just doing the best we could with what we had. We spent hours talking, catching up, reconnecting. It wasn't exactly the same as it used to be. We were different people, with different lives. But underneath the surface, the bond was still there. A shared history, a connection forged in childhood, that time and distance couldn't erase. As the day drew to a close, we exchanged numbers and promised to stay in touch this time. We hugged goodbye, a little less awkwardly than before. After the hug, I watched her car until it disappeared down the street. I stood there for a few minutes, just thinking. I replayed parts of our conversation in my head. It was good to see her doing well. I was glad we reconnected. I hoped we would actually stay in contact this time. I got in my car and adjusted the mirrors. The sun was beginning to set. I turned the key in the ignition and pulled away from the curb. The drive was longer than I remembered. Traffic was heavy. I changed lanes a few times, trying to get ahead. I turned up the radio to distract myself. A song we both used to like came on. I remembered singing it together at a karaoke bar years ago. I smiled at the memory. I wondered if she remembered that night too. The traffic finally started to ease up as I got closer to home. I turned off the radio as I pulled into my driveway. Driving home, I felt a strange mix of emotions. Joy at reconnecting with an old friend, sadness at the realization of how much time had passed, and a sense of gratitude for the memories we shared. I thought about the nature of friendship, how it can endure even through years of silence and distance. I thought about the power of shared experiences, how they can create a bond that transcends time. Friendship is a complicated thing. It is something I have thought a lot about as I have gotten older. I considered the friends I have now and the friends I had in the past. Some friends stayed in my life and some did not. The reasons for this are numerous. Sometimes people simply grow apart. Other times there is a specific event that causes a friendship to end. I value the friendships I have maintained over the years. I think maintaining friendships takes work and effort from all parties involved. I also started thinking about how different my old friends were then. They were not the same people now that I knew so long ago. I think this is true for most people. The experiences we have shape who we become. These experiences can be both good and bad. I believe it is important to acknowledge the past while also embracing the present. I try to do this with my current friendships. It helps me appreciate what I have now. I also realize that we can never truly go back. We can revisit the places of our past, reconnect with the people we used to know, but we can never recapture the innocence and simplicity of childhood. Life changes us, shapes us, molds us into the people we are today. I don't expect we will become as close as we once were. Our lives are too different, our priorities have shifted. But I know that we will stay in touch. We will share updates, offer support, and remember the times we spent together. I think we both understand that some things cannot go back to how they were. Too much has changed on both sides. Resentments exist, even if unspoken. I am not sure we can truly move past them. We made an effort to meet up again. We acknowledged the distance that formed. We both said it was good to see each other. I think that is all we could do. The day felt strange. It was good to see him, but it also felt like seeing a stranger. The shared history was there, but the present felt different. It was a reminder that people grow and change. It made me think about my own life and how I have changed. Maybe that is just part of getting older. The reunion was a bittersweet reminder of the passage of time, the fleeting nature of childhood, and the enduring power of friendship. It was a reminder to cherish the connections we have, to nurture the relationships that matter, and to never take for granted the people who have touched our lives. It also made me think about all the other people I've lost touch with over the years. The classmates, teammates, and acquaintances who once played a significant role in my life, but have since faded into the background. I began going through my phone contacts. I scrolled past names I hadn't seen in years. I recognized some numbers, but I had forgotten the faces. Others I remembered clearly, but I had no idea where they were now. Social media made it easier to find some people. I typed names into the search bar and waited for results. I saw a few familiar faces pop up. Some were married with kids. Others seemed to be traveling the world. A few were still doing the same things we did back then. I considered sending a message to a few of them. I hesitated, unsure of what to say. It felt strange to reach out after so much time had passed. I didn't want to seem like I was trying to get something from them. I just wanted to know how they were doing. I drafted a simple message to one person, then deleted it. I did this several times before finally sending something. I kept it short and casual. I just said hello and asked how they were. I waited for a response, feeling a mix of anticipation and anxiety. I wondered if they ever thought about me. I wondered if they ever regretted losing touch. I wondered if it was too late to reconnect. The experience has inspired me to reach out to some of those people, to send a message, make a call, and see what they're up to. To let them know that I still remember them, that I still value the memories we shared. I spent a lot of time thinking about it. I realized I had let too many friendships fade. I got caught up in my own life and didn't make enough effort to stay in touch. It is easy to do, especially when people move away or life gets busy. But I do not want to keep making that mistake. I want to be a better friend, a better family member, and a better person in general. I started making a list of people I wanted to contact. Some were old school friends, others were former coworkers, and some were relatives I had lost touch with. I tried not to overthink it. I just wrote down names as they came to me. Then I started reaching out, one by one, hoping they would be open to reconnecting. Maybe some of those attempts will be successful. Maybe some will be met with silence. But I know that it's worth trying. Because even if we can't recapture the past, we can still create new connections, build new memories, and enrich our lives in the present. I understand that people grow and change, and paths diverge. Some friendships are meant to last a lifetime, while others are meant to serve a purpose for a specific period of time. And that's okay. I try to be realistic about relationships. I do not expect every person who enters my life to stay. It would be unrealistic and unhealthy to cling to people who want to move on. I have learned that holding on too tightly can actually push people away. Instead, I focus on appreciating the time I have with them. I value the memories and experiences we shared. I also try to learn from the relationship, even if it ends. I want to use the lessons to grow as a person. I still think about the people who are no longer in my life. Sometimes, I wonder what they are doing now. I hope they are happy and fulfilled. I do not regret the time we spent together. I am grateful for the role they played in my story. I also believe in second chances. I think people can change and relationships can evolve. So, I choose to remain open to the possibility of rekindling old connections. But I also believe that it's important to acknowledge the impact that people have had on our lives, to express our gratitude, and to keep the door open for reconnection, even if it seems unlikely. The reunion with my childhood friend was a reminder that the past is always a part of us, shaping who we are today and influencing who we will become tomorrow. It was a reminder to embrace the present, cherish the connections we have, and never stop reaching out to the people who matter. I am glad that I took the chance and sent that message. It led to a meaningful reconnection and a renewed appreciation for the enduring power of friendship.